They got told no, by record labels, by managers, by their own bank accounts, and they made history anyway. 10 songs, 10 artists who were rejected, robbed, and left with nothing, who turned every single no into the greatest music America ever made. Welcome back to R&B GROOVELore. This is the countdown of the R&B legends who never gave up. Number 10. It's Your Thing, the Isley Brothers, 1969. The Isley Brothers spent 3.5 years at Motown feeling invisible. They'd already had a real hit before Berry Gordy ever signed them, Twist and Shout. But at Motown, they watched the Temptations and the Four Tops get the spotlight while they got the leftovers. So in December 1968, they walked away. They dug up their own dusty label from a few years back, T-Neck Records, and dared to bet on themselves. Ronald Isley wrote the song that would change everything while dropping his daughter off at school. He hummed the melody in his head the whole drive home so he wouldn't lose it, grabbed a pen and rushed it to his brother O'Kelly. In the studio, the hired bass player couldn't nail the groove, so 16-year-old baby brother Ernie Isley stepped up and played it himself, terrified, in his first ever studio take. It's Your Thing shot to #1 on the R&B chart and sold over 1 million copies, and then Motown sued them, claiming they'd cut it while still under contract. The case dragged through courtrooms for years. The Isleys won, twice, and they never looked back. Number 9. Unbreak My Heart, Toni Braxton, 1996. Toni Braxton grew up the daughter of a strict Pentecostal preacher. No secular music allowed in the house, not even Christmas. By 1996, she didn't need permission from anybody. Unbreak My Heart sat at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 11 straight weeks. It sold over 10 million copies worldwide. She was a global superstar with a fistful of Grammys. Here's the part almost nobody knew. Her very first record contract paid her exactly $1,972 total for an album that helped generate $170 million. By the end of 1997, her music had earned the label over $200 million, and she was still only pulling in about 35 cents a copy. She sued her own label in December. 1 month later, in January of 1998, at the absolute peak of her fame, Toni Braxton filed for bankruptcy. She didn't disappear. She fought her way back to the charts by the year 2000. And she still owns the rights to the song that broke her heart the first time around. Number 8. Sweet Love, Anita Baker, 1986. Anita Baker started singing in Detroit nightclubs at 16 years old. She joined a group called Chapter 8. Then, a label dropped them because executives didn't care for her voice. She believed her career was finished. So she took a job as a receptionist at a law firm and let the music go quiet. A phone call pulled her back in. A solo deal, modest success, and then a much better offer from a bigger label, Elektra. But her old label refused to let her leave. They sued her. They sued Elektra too, trying to block her new album before it ever reached a single radio station. For months, Anita Baker split her days between a courtroom and a recording studio, fighting for her freedom by day, recording Sweet Love by night. On March 19, 1986, a judge finally ruled in her favor. The album, Rapture, hit record stores the very next morning. Sweet Love won her 2 Grammys. The album went on to sell 8 million copies around the world. Number 7. Waterfalls, TLC, 1995. By the summer of 1995, TLC's album, Crazy Sexy Cool, had already sold over 10 million copies in America alone. It remains, to this day, the only album by a female group to ever go diamond. Waterfalls, written in part by Lisa Left Eye Lopes, tackled drug dealing and the AIDS epidemic head-on daytime radio in 1995. It was fearless, and it worked. The song climbed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Here's the twist nobody saw coming. On July 3rd, 1995, 5 days before Waterfalls hit number 1 in the entire country, Tion Watkins, Lisa Lopes, and Rosonda Thomas each filed for bankruptcy. Their contract paid them around 56 cents per album sold, split 3 ways, after video costs and tour costs got charged straight back to them. Multi-platinum superstars, and each of them was clearing less than $50,000 a year. They sued their own management. They won back their creative control, and they came back stronger, with No Scrubs still waiting just around the corner. Number 6. Never Too Much, Luther Vandross, 1981. Luther Vandross lost his father when he was 8 years old. His sisters took him to the Apollo Theater to watch legends perform, and something lit up in him that never went out. For most of the 1970s, Luther Vandross was famous, just not as himself. He sang backup for David Bowie, for Bette Midler, for Diana Ross, for Chic, for Barbra Streisand. He wrote and sang jingles for Burger King, for Kentucky Fried Chicken, for the NBC Peacock. You'd heard his voice 100 times and never known his name. Record labels turned him down again and again. CBS passed. Epic passed. Not once, but twice. So Luther saved his own jingle money. And with musicians and engineers working for free, on spec, including the legendary Cissy Houston, he recorded his own song, on his own dime, exactly the way he heard it in his head. He walked it back into epic, already finished. This time, they signed him on the spot. Never Too Much hit number 1 on the R&B charts in 1981. It was the first of 11 straight platinum albums. Number 5. Lady Marmalade, Labelle, featuring Patti LaBelle, 1974. Patti LaBelle started out singing in her church choir in Philadelphia. By the early 1960s, she was fronting a girl group called the Bluebells. Sweet ballads, matching dresses, the whole classic look. For over a decade, they scraped by. Modest hits. Dropped by their label. Dropped by their manager. One founding member left to join the Supremes. By 1970, it looked like it might be over. Then their new manager tore the whole act down and rebuilt it from scratch. Out went the gowns. In came silver spacesuits, glitter, glam rock energy. A brand new group called simply Labelle. In 1974, they recorded a song about a New Orleans sex worker, with a French chorus asking a very direct question. Patti LaBelle has said for decades that she genuinely had no idea what those French words meant when she sang them. Lady Marmalade shot to #1 on the pop and R&B charts. That October, Labelle became the first rock and roll group in history to perform at the Metropolitan Opera House. Number 4. If You Don't Know Me By Now, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, featuring Teddy Pendergrass, 1972. Harold Melvin's group had been grinding on the Philadelphia lounge circuit since 1954, nearly 2 decades, barely a hit to their name. In 1970, Melvin hired a new drummer for the touring band, a young man named Teddy Pendergrass. Just the drummer, nobody's spotlight. Then one night, mid-performance, Pendergrass started singing along from behind the kit. Harold Melvin heard that voice and pulled him out from behind the drums for good, making him the lead singer on the spot. Just get yourself together. The song that made them legends almost went to somebody else entirely. Writers Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff first offered it to Patti LaBelle's group, Labelle, but scheduling conflicts got in the way, and it landed with the Blue Notes instead. Gamble and Huff later admitted their own marital troubles were what gave the song its ache. Woman, you got yours too. If You Don't Know Me By Now hit #1 on the R&B chart in November 1972. It made Teddy Pendergrass a star so bright that fans on the street kept mistaking him for Harold Melvin himself. You should understand me. Number 3. Midnight Train to Georgia, Gladys Knight and the Pips, 1973. This song almost never happened as a soul record at all. Songwriter Jim Weatherly wrote it as a country tune after a phone call with actor Lee Majors' girlfriend, Farrah Fawcett, who mentioned she was packing to catch a midnight plane to Houston. Gospel singer Cissy Houston, Whitney's mother, recorded it first, but changed the title. Her family was from Georgia, she said, and her people didn't take planes anywhere. They took trains. By 1973, Gladys Knight had just walked away from Motown for a smaller label, betting on herself and her longtime group, the Pips. She loved Cissy's version but wanted something moodier. Horns, keys, real texture. She flipped the lyrics back to a woman's point of view and added the line that made it hers forever. A superstar, but he didn't get very far. Midnight Train to Georgia became Gladys Knight and the Pips' very first #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, knocking the Rolling Stones out of the top spot. It won a Grammy. It became her signature song for the rest of her life. Number 2. Let's Stay Together, Al Green, 1972. Willie Mitchell spotted Al Green opening a show in Midland, Texas, and brought him back to Memphis, promising stardom. Green's very first record for Mitchell's label didn't sell a single copy worth mentioning. It took nearly 3 years for Willie Mitchell to find the sound he was hearing in his head. Recording the title track, Al Green kept belting it out like Otis Redding, like Sam Cooke, like Wilson Pickett. Big, forceful, shouting the pain. Mitchell stopped him. "Don't try to handle the song," he said. "Just let it happen." Green got so frustrated he stormed out of the studio, jumped in his Corvette, and spun the tires in the parking lot for 30 minutes straight, loud enough for Mitchell to hear through the walls. Then he walked back in and sang it soft. vulnerable, almost a whisper. That's the take you've heard 1,000 times.
Since we've been together.
Let's Stay Together became Al Green's only #1 pop hit, and the first of 6 straight #1 soul albums for the two of them together. Number 1. What's Going On? Marvin Gaye, 1971. Marvin Gaye was grieving. His duet partner, Tammy Terrell, had just died after years fighting a brain tumor. His brother Frankie had come home from Vietnam with stories that left Marvin in tears. He kept asking himself one question. With the world exploding around him, how was he supposed to keep singing love songs? A Four Tops member named Obie Benson had watched police beat peaceful protesters in Berkeley and started writing something about it. His own group turned the song down, calling it too political, so he brought it to Marvin Gaye instead. Gaye rewrote it, produced it entirely himself for the first time in his career, and carried it straight to Motown's founder, Berry Gordy. Gordy hated it. He called it, word for word, the worst thing I ever heard in my life. He refused to release it. Marvin Gaye responded by refusing to record anything else, for anyone, until it came out. A Motown executive finally slipped it out to record stores behind Gordy's back. It sold 200,000 copies in a single week. What's Going On hit #1 on the R&B charts for 5 straight weeks, forced Gordy to hand Marvin Gaye full creative control of his own music, and today sits inside the Library of Congress as one of the greatest recordings America has ever made. 10 artists, 10 no's that should have ended everything, and 10 times the music won anyway.